Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I filmed my first tutorial today. I am so excited about it. So if you're interested in seeing how I achieve this fall, vampy, date night sort of look, keep watching. Alright, so I started with the NYX No Filter Blurring Primer. And I just put that all over, focusing especially on my T-zone because that's where I have the largest pores and it's also where I get the most oily. Next, I use my Ardell Brow Pomade in the color Dark Brown. And I'm just going to fill in my brows. I tend to use small hair-like strokes because I don't like my brows to look too blocky or unnatural. So I use small hairline strokes, and then I try to just fill in the bottom and sometimes the top, and then just kind of use the product from the top and the bottom to fill in the rest of my eyebrow. And then, as you can see here, using a spoolie or a eyebrow brush to continue to blend that in. So now I'm going to use the e.l.f. Complete Coverage Concealer Palette in medium, and I'm going to take the first shade from that palette and clean up my eyebrows. I don't normally conceal the top of my brow, but this look was super dramatic, so I wanted my eyebrows to be like on point. But usually to keep my eyebrows looking as natural as possible, I tend to not conceal the top of them because I want them to look, you know, perfectly imperfect. I don't know why I'm using the small brush that came with this palette because I have several concealer brushes that I could have used. But it looks like I'm struggling with this little teeny brush. But I got it done, so that's all that matters. So now I'm going to take a fluffy concealer brush and just blend out the concealer around my eyebrows. So now I'm going to take NYX's eyeshadow base in the shade 03 and just prime my eyelids. I know that the camera focusing in and out on the brightness, I guess, is distracting, so I'm so sorry about that, guys. I'll try to keep that in mind for my next tutorial. After I prime my eyelids, I always set it with a setting powder. You can use any one. It just helps you get a smoother base to work your eyeshadow on. So as I start with my eyes, I'm going to zoom in, but I use the yellow color from the Morphe 35B palette as my first transition color, and I just work that right above the crease. So the key here is to start off with a little product and build your way up. So don't go in too hot with the color, otherwise you will have a hard time blending everything out. The key is to use circular motions and back and forth motions when you're blending, just so that you can make sure that you're really blending that color out. For my second transition color, I'm using this salmon color in that same palette, and I'm actually going to work that in my crease. And I'm using a different fluffy brush. It's a little bit more dense than the one that I started with, because I really want control over that orange color. Sometimes it's you lose your first transition color, so you can just take the same brush that you use, add a little bit more product, and just blend that out. You don't want to add too much, you don't want it to look clownish, but if you feel like you're losing that first transition color, feel free to add a little bit more and just continue to blend those two colors together. So I'm using the color Sagittarius from the Deck of Scarlet palette edition number 4, and I'm just blending that into my crease. It's almost right beneath that orange color, but this really just deepens that orange up a bit, and acts as even another transition color. Now I'm going to use the NYX Mousse eyeliner, and I'm going to put that all over my lid. I'm not going to take it too high up because we are going to blend it up, but the key here is to really just have a dark, intense color that you can start as your base, or that you can use as your base. So I'm going to take a tapered fluffy brush, and I'm just going to blend that from the outside inward almost, and just kind of like smudge it essentially. What we want to do is get rid of that harsh line that was created by the eyeliner, so that when we set it with our black shadow, there isn't a harsh line. So I'm going to use the black from the Morphe 35B palette again, and I'm actually going to set that black liner. So sort of dab it on top of the black liner, but then you can blend up as well. I'm going to take a blank fluffy brush, and I am going to blend out that black into that orange. I'm going in with more black because I didn't think that it was smoky enough, so I'm just adding a little bit more black there. As I mentioned before, sometimes you can lose your transition shade as you're blending out, so feel free to add a little bit more of the yellow or the orange if you feel like you're losing it, and continue to just blend that out. So I'm going to take the color New York from the Deck of Scarlet palette again, and I'm going to put that right in the inner corner of my eye, and I'm just going to take that up into the corner of my eyelid as well. It's a gunmetal black color, so it should blend right into the black but give it sort of a shimmer. Now is the fun part, eyeliner. So you're just going to line your lid. I'm not going to do a super long wing, just a small one. The eye is pretty intense already, so I just want to give it a little bit more intensity by lining my lid. I'm going to use my favorite mascara and just put a little bit of mascara on my lashes before I apply my falsies. Putting on falsies is already hard, so I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm going to prime my under eye with the e.l.f. under eye primer. This was my first time using it, but what I realized it does is just keeps my concealer from creasing. So I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Foundation. I love this stuff. I actually got it in the shade 360, but as you will be able to see, 360 is a little too light for me. So I did just order it in 370. Hopefully that one isn't too dark. If so, I can just mix the two and hopefully it'll work. If you have not tried this foundation yet, please make your way to the nearest Sephora or to fentybeauty.com and try it. I'm going to use my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color Natural to just conceal my under eyes, my forehead, my cupid's bow, and my chin. I also use Fix Plus. I just spray that on my beauty blender before I blend it out. I just find that it helps it to blend a little easier. Stop. This foundation is way too light for me, and that was the moment that I realized it. So I'm just going to bronze and contour and just hope that it doesn't look too crazy. I'm going to use my e.l.f. HD setting powder. You guys, this stuff is amazing. I talked about it in my New Find Fridays video. Listen, this stuff is only $6 and it is a miracle. Then I'm going to use my NYX bronzer, the matte bronzer, in the color, I think medium dark is what I have, to bronze my face. I usually use this to contour, but at this point I was really trying to overcompensate for the fact that this foundation is way too light for me. I'm going to use that same fluffy brush and dust off the setting powder. And then I'm going to take a smaller fluffy brush and use that same bronzer to contour my nose a bit. I'm going to use my e.l.f. crease brush. It's a small fluffy brush to add that yellow color to my under eye or my bottom lash line. I don't know what to call it, but I'm doing the exact same thing that I did on top. Just starting with that first transition color, and then you'll see that I'll add some of the orange as the second transition color, and then I'm also going to add the matte black shadow to my lower lash line to just smoke it out even more. I'm lining my waterline with the same mousse, and then I'm taking that black shadow and smoking it out just to add a little bit of definition to the bottom part of my eye. Same thing that we did to the top, we're going to add some of that New York from the Deck of Scarlet palette to the bottom inner corner of my eye, and then some mascara for the bottom. The Deck of Scarlet palette has a color called Adorable for the cheeks, so I'm going to use that as a blush. It's so pretty. I realized in retrospect that it may have been a little bit overkill, but it still worked. It's pretty. All right, now I'm going to use my NYX A Wavy Glow liquid highlighter, and I'm going to put that right on my cheek. Pro tip, don't use a beauty blender to blend out a cream that has setting powder on it, because you're just setting the cream so it doesn't go anywhere. Silly me. Alright, so e.l.f. has a warm bronzing palette that has like 4 different shades in it. It is gorgeous when you mix all of them together. Look at that. It's just lit. Literally lit. When you're highlighting, you always want to highlight the high points of your face. So your cheekbones, or the top of your cheekbones, the bridge of your nose, the tip of your nose, your cupid's bow, your chin. Some people even do above their eyebrows, which is what I'm going to do, but you don't have to do that, especially if you have textured skin on your forehead. Now I'm using the lip liner by the Deck of Scarlet palette this month. I'm not sure the color of it, but it's gorgeous. It's like a dark mauve almost. And I'm just lining my lips. Then I'm using Milani's Black Cherry. This is literally one of my favorite colors, y'all. But as I put it on, I decided that I wanted something that was a little bit more, I guess, dark. So I added NYX's matte cream in the color Copenhagen on top of it, and it just was beautiful. It worked so well. But I love this Black Cherry color. Now I'm just setting my face with Fix Plus, making sure it doesn't go anywhere. And this is the final look. This was my favorite, y'all. I love me a smoky eye. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at @thegirlwbighair, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. See you next time.